What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 4, episode 14. So we are at the actual wine tasting. Okay, they have the people there. Chris and some of their other friends came down. Martell's friends, and Martell's uncle is there. And so, at a certain point, Martell gets up to give a speech. Now, first of all, I think Martell was a little tipsy. He had been drinking the wine all damn night, and I think he was a little tipsy. Secondly, he was nervous. And he said later on that, he gets nervous speaking in front of people, and that was one of the things when him and Melody were together. Melody was the spokesperson, and Marcel brought that up later on, too. Like, he's used to Melody taking the reign and taking the lead, and Melody is the public speaker. So, I'm going to say this. He called up the guys on the show because, of course, they're filming. So that's what he called up first. Then he called up two of his friends' friends. He never called his uncle up. And he gave the speech about basically black ownership and being an owner and being an entrepreneur, and owning your own stuff. He didn't really speak a lot about the fact that the wine was named after his grandmother and who she was to him and why he wanted to name the wine. Like, he never really did any of that. And he didn't acknowledge his uncle. And so I think that upset the uncle. So the uncle had an attitude. Now, in hindsight, I'm going to say this. Martell, if you know you're not a great public speaker and you get nervous and you get easily thrown off, you probably should have prepared something to read. There was a way that it could have been done that it didn't look tacky. Like, you don't put it on scraps of paper. You put it on some nice index cards or you type it out if you feel like you need to. But there was a way you could have done that so that you didn't forget. I do not think this was a situation where he intentionally was trying to be whatever. But the uncle was offended, and the uncle came up to talk to Martell. And the thing was, the uncle came up to talk to Martell. He did it outside. He didn't do it in front of everybody. But, of course, the cameras were there. And, Martell doesn't like to be embarrassed. And Martell, whispers in his ear, don't do this. You on national TV. Don't ever do this to me on national television. And I feel like that pissed the uncle off even more because he was like, hold up, bruh. I'm not even doing this TV shit. Like, I feel the way I feel. Like, I'm legit upset right now. And this ain't about no cameras. Like, and this is not about me doing it for the TV. And so he told Martell, he said, listen, you got this. I'm gone. And Martell kept trying to stop him and kept wanting to talk. And I'm like, now which one do you want it, Martell? Because if he was trying to talk to you and you didn't want him to do it on camera, now you're trying to stop him and you don't want him to leave. You don't want the cameras to follow you. What is it that you want in this moment? Because first of all, them cameras gonna follow you. Like, you've been doing this long enough to know that the cameramen smell a story, they smell a scene, and they are gonna follow y'all. So that's number one. Number two, either you want the man to talk or you don't. So he ended up actually leaving. Him and his wife left. Martell was upset, and so the guys started talking, and I guess the guys had pieced it together that his uncle was upset, and that maybe his uncle was upset about, Martell not really giving the grandmother the accolades that they feel like she should have gotten. And I feel like they would, on one hand, I feel like they were being good friends, but on the other hand, I feel like y'all making a lot of excuses for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all making a lot of excuses for him right now. Like I said, I see both sides of this. Like, y'all know I don't be cutting Martell no slack. I think the biggest problem is you probably should have written out a speech. Yeah. We also found out that he don't have no distributors yet. So, Melanika, ain't that your job? Chop, chop. Get him some distributors. I mean, you can't even get them to sell it at Black. Marceau, you can't sell Inez at Black. I mean, anyway. So the next day, the guys are getting ready to leave. We find out that Lewis had an emergency and he had to leave earlier. So he had left early that morning. So riding back, it was just Martell, Marceau, and Maurice. Now, my question is this. Martell, were you going straight to a business event when y'all got back to Huntsville? Because Martell is dressed up in a suit and everything. Like he going somewhere when they get home. And, Maurice got on a sweatshirt and some sweatpants. Like, I'm like, night and day. But either way, they head on back. We see where we found out that Lewis had a death in the family, so he went back to be with Tiffany and the kids. I feel like it was maybe somebody on Tiffany's side of the family. I don't know. But we see the two of them talking, and he told her he skipped over the strip club. He skipped over, like, his pitch when he talking about ladies come in the house with the bottle of wine, open the bottle of wine and open your legs. He conveniently skipped over all of that stuff. He did tell her that he went to the rage room and that he was raging. He did tell her he was raging, honey. And she said, "Is it really that serious? Like, you really that upset? Like, you really that? Like, I felt like is that something you needed to go to the rage room and rage about?" And he said, "Listen, I have communicated this to you. I have talked to you about it. And at this point, it's on you. The ball is in your court to do something about it. Like, I've told you how I feel. I've told you what's important to me. So this is on you to do something about it." Tiffany, girl, look, you're going to need to adjust your schedule. Your husband is being very clear what's important to him and what he needs. And you might not think it's important. You may feel like it's a little extra. But, girl, listen. I don't know. You might need to shut it down at 2, go home. I don't know what you need to do, girl. But you need to do something because he's giving you... he's starting to sound like Martell. Like, he is giving you everything you need to know what he needs from you. So then we have Kimmy and Maurice. Now, Kimmy, girl, y'all know I love me some Kimmy. Kimmy, my favorite one on this show. But in this moment, Kimmy, I feel like you was being a little extra. I feel like you was just giving them a scene. Because at the end of the day, I don't think you really care. Because when y'all got married and Maurice was down to the strip club acting a whole fool, you were not concerned. You did not care. Like, I feel like you would have been, if it hadn't been the night before your wedding, I feel like you'd have been up in the strip club with him throwing dollars, okay? But, of course she asked him what happened. And, he said they went to the strip club and this and this and that and that and that and that. And she was like, "Well, did you touch anybody? Like, did your body make contact with anybody else's?" And he was like, What you mean? What you mean? She was like, "What I mean is, did your body physically make contact with another body? Like, that is what I am talking about. Don't play with me. Don't play like you don't understand what I'm saying right now." She said, "You know what? Don't worry about it. It's gonna hit social media. Don't worry about it. I'll find out everything I need to know." And that's why I don't think Kimmy was really that concerned. I feel like Kimmy and Maurice was playing along to give them a scene. Because each of the guys had to have this scene about what happened over the weekend. And so I just feel like they were giving us a scene. Because I honestly don't think that what Maurice did at the strip club was any worse than what he did the night before his wedding. I really don't. Matter of fact, it was very tame compared to the night before the wedding. So it wasn't that deep. Then we have Tisha and Marcel. Listen. Just the way Tisha talks irritates me. So, Marceau, how was the week? I don't know. And she didn't do anything different than what Tiffany did and what Kimmy did, but it hit me different, y'all. And I know that's not right. Because I don't dislike Tisha, but Tisha and Marceau's interaction has just... So, anyway, they were talking, and they got to talking about Louis and his sexual frustration, and Marcel was letting her know how important sex is to a marriage. And Marcel said, "Listen, y'all don't have to like what come out of Marcel's mouth, but a lot of what Marcel say is true." And Marcel was like, "Listen, if sex is important to me," because he said something about he wouldn't be in a sexless marriage. And Tisha brought up a valid point. Tisha said, "Listen, I don't think it's a sexless marriage. I think it's uneven on the sex activity marriage. I don't think it's sexless." And he was like, "Well, all I'm saying is, if sex is important to me and sex isn't important to you, then you just need to leave me alone while I'm getting it from where I need to get it from." He ain't tell no lies. I mean, I'm not giving nobody a pass to cheat, but if going back to what Lewis said, if your partner is letting you know what's important to them and you're not doing your part to make it a reality, then when they get it from somewhere else, now, I don't know if he was sending those signals to Tisha, but neither here nor there. And I feel like they did more talking about Louis and Tiffany than they did about themselves, but Whatever, child. What else did they talk about? I feel like that's it. I feel like I'm missing something that Marcel and Tisha talked about, but I told y'all it's hard because I just feel like he be playing so many games with her, and she just la 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 la, right? Um. So then we have Martell. He goes to talk to his mom, and they talk about his uncle, and Martell was explaining that, he said, listen, I get nervous and maybe I didn't say the right thing, but, he should know I didn't mean any harm. He should know that I wasn't trying to do anything, with any malice or anything. And his mother was like, listen, we know you a good person. Like, he was just upset, he don't play about his mama, and he was just in his feelings. She said he tried to call him. He was like, I tried to call him hundreds of times. He don't respond. And she was like, he'll be all right, And he said he's going to have another wine tasting for the family, a little bit more intimate, and that, he'll make sure that he says everything he needs to say about his grandmother. He said, because I loved her too, And then he tells this story about his grandmother must have passed away around the time that college scouts were coming to see him. And listen, I'm not questioning nobody's grief, but I feel like Martell once again was finding a way to make an excuse for something he didn't do. Because he was like, I didn't even want to try out for the college scouts. Like, I just didn't even have it in me. Like, I wasn't even feeling it. And it's just funny how, when you lose somebody, how it make you just not want to do anything. And I was like, here we go. Here we go, Martell. He always got a reason, season, lifetime. He always got one. But I do know that grief is real, so I'm not going to be too hard. Because I know grief is real. Grief is a real thing. Letitia goes to see Dr. Francis. Now, listen. I think she was doing good with Dr. Francis until she told Dr. Francis that Marceau went to Africa without her. What'd she tell him that for? He was like, you was okay with that? And, once again, she starts making excuses for him, talking about, well, I know Marceau was a last-minute person, and this, and this, and this, and that. And he was like, no. He's last minute in telling you because he know he can, because there's a dependency there, and he depends on you to make everything okay. Like, he didn't just decide at the last minute to go to Tanzania. He decided at the last minute to tell you that he was going to Tanzania. He said he couldn't take you, and she said, well, he said you were okay with it. She said, well, no, not at first, because we had said we were going to take, we were going to do a family trip to Africa, so no, I felt some kind of way about it. And he said, well, why didn't he take you? I mean, I just have so many things to do, I have so many responsibilities here. I would have to find something to do with the kids, and the kids were in school, and we have a dog, and yada, 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 yada. And he was like, okay then. But again, she said, well, that's something, him doing these things like last minute, it is a problem that we're trying to work on that I want him to fix. Okay, I hope you hear yourself, teacher. I hope you hear yourself. So then he invited them to a couples retreat, and she talking about something. I don't know if Marceau gonna be on board with it, but I'm gonna have to convince him to come. I'm like, yeah, okay, you let me know how that work out for you. Convincing Marceau to come to the couples retreat. Okay. So then we have Kimmy went to lunch with Melody, and she was telling them about, the guys weekend and stuff. And Melody was like, You okay with that? Like, you don't have a problem with Maurice, going on a guy's trip? And Kimmy was like, listen, if I can't trust my man to go away for the weekend with his friends, then we got a problem. And Melody was like, yeah, but I'm just talking about who he going with. I mean, I'm just saying who he going with. And Kimmy said something that absolutely 100% is correct. Melody, because of what Melody went through, and of course because of what she went through with Martell, it's like everybody's husband got to be cheating. Just because your husband cheating and because your husband did what he did to you, now everybody's husband is cheating. Everybody's husband out here doing stuff they ain't supposed to be doing. And that just ain't everybody's testimony, Melody. That is not everybody's, situation. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode. This episode was sort of a filler. I feel like it wasn't a whole lot there. Maybe next week we're going to get some explosions. But let me know what y'all think. Talk to y'all later. Peace.